The classification error, the Galactic Assessment Bureau, floated in the void between stars. A massive crystalline structure that had monitored civilizations for over 10,000 years. Inside its sterile halls, bureaucrats from a dozen species reviewed data streams from across the galaxy. Their job was simple: catalog, classify, and file away information about every sentient species they encountered. Dr. Elena Vasquez stared at the holographic display in disbelief. The translation matrix flickered as alien symbols converted to English text. She read the classification again, certain she had misunderstood something fundamental. Species 7 Alphanine, designation humans, home planet Sol 3, also known as Earth, threat level, harmless, technological assessment, primitive, military capability, negligible, recommendation, minimal monitoring required. Elena's coffee cup trembled in her hands. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had spent years preparing for this moment. First contact protocols, diplomatic procedures, cultural exchange programs. Everything hinged on how humanity would be perceived by the galactic community. She had imagined many scenarios, but never this. Harmless, she whispered to herself in the empty laboratory. They think we're harmless. The report continued with clinical detachment. The assessment team had monitored Earth for 6 months, observing human behavior through long-range sensors and intercepted communications. They noted humanity's tendency toward internal conflict, emotional decision-making, and what they termed inefficient resource allocation. The aliens had watched humans argue over borders, fight over resources, and struggle with basic environmental management. What they failed to understand was that these apparent weaknesses masked something far more dangerous: adaptability. Elena forwarded the report to Admiral Marcus Chen at the Pentagon. Within hours, she received a secure video call. The Admiral's weathered face appeared on her screen, his expression unreadable. Dr. Vasquez, I've reviewed the alien assessment. What's your professional opinion? Elena chose her words carefully. Sir, they've made a fundamental error. They observed our conflicts and disagreements and concluded we're weak. But they missed the crucial point. We're not fighting because we're weak. We're fighting because we're strong enough to survive constant challenges. Admiral Chen nodded slowly. Explain. Look at our history, Admiral. Every major crisis has made us stronger. Wars drive innovation. Disasters force cooperation. We don't just survive challenges, we evolve from them. The aliens saw our arguments and assumed division. They didn't see the democracy, the debate, the process of becoming stronger through conflict and militarily. Elena pulled up another display. They assessed our weapons based on current technology. Chemical explosives, kinetic weapons, basic nuclear capability. They completely missed our rapid development curve. In the 6 months they observed us, we've advanced our technology by decades. They're still using their initial assessment. Admiral Chen leaned forward. Dr. Vasquez, what would you recommend? We let them keep thinking we're harmless, and we prepare for the day they realize their mistake. 6 months later, that day arrived. Captain Sarah Mitchell adjusted her flight harness as the experimental ship Prometheus approached the Kepler system. The mission was supposed to be routine, establish contact with the Kepler Mining Consortium, a peaceful alien operation extracting rare elements from the system's asteroid belt. It was humanity's first official diplomatic mission beyond the solar system. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the lead mining vessel, reported Lieutenant James Rodriguez from the communications station. They're requesting immediate assistance. Something about a cascade failure in their primary habitats. Sarah studied the tactical display. The mining operation consisted of 3 large vessels and dozens of smaller craft. Long-range sensors showed catastrophic damage to the central habitat ship. Atmosphere was venting, power systems were failing, and over 2,000 alien civilians were trapped inside. Time to intercept? Sarah asked. 18 minutes at maximum burn, replied her navigator. Ensign Lisa Park, Sarah made the decision in seconds. All hands, prepare for emergency rescue operations. Rodriguez informed the mining vessel where en route. Park, plot an intercept course. Engineering, I need maximum power to the engines. The Prometheus surged forward, its experimental fusion drive pushing the ship to unprecedented speeds. As they closed the distance, Sarah studied the damaged vessel. The aliens had clearly given up hope. Their ships were moving away from the habitat, abandoning the survivors to their fate. Captain, Rodriguez said quietly, the mining supervisor is advising us to maintain safe distance. They say the habitat is too damaged for rescue operations. Sarah's jaw tightened. Tell them humans don't abandon people in need. What followed became known as the Kepler incident. The Prometheus crew performed 17 separate rescue operations, extracting survivors from a collapsing habitat that alien engineers had declared unsalvageable. They improvised solutions on the fly, using human engineering principles the aliens had never encountered. When the alien ships refused to provide assistance, Sarah's crew cut through twisted metal with improvised plasma torches. When alien rescue equipment failed, they rigged human EVA suits to work with alien life support systems. When the habitat's artificial gravity failed, they created makeshift tethers from cargo netting and personal equipment. Most remarkably, they saved every single survivor. The mining supervisor, a methane-breathing creature named Keth9, transmitted a message that would echo across the galaxy. The humans accomplished what we deemed impossible. They saved beings they had never met, using technology we considered primitive. We classified them as harmless. We were wrong. The rescue took 14 hours. When it was over, Sarah stood in the Prometheus briefing room, looking at the exhausted faces of her crew. They had just rewritten the galactic community's understanding of human capabilities. Captain, Rodriguez said, we're receiving priority transmissions from over 40 different star systems. Everyone wants to know about the humans who saved Kepler Station. Sarah nodded. Put me through to Earth Command. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the screen, along with Dr. Vasquez and several other officials. Captain Mitchell, outstanding work. The entire galaxy is talking about what you accomplished. Sir, it wasn't just us. Any human crew would have done the same thing. That's exactly the point, Captain. The aliens are beginning to understand that what they saw as weakness was actually strength. They observed our conflicts and missed our compassion. They noted our arguments and ignored our cooperation. They classified us as harmless because they couldn't comprehend that a species could be both peaceful and utterly determined. Dr. Vasquez spoke up. Captain, you've given us something invaluable, respect. The galaxy is no longer dismissing humanity as irrelevant. They're asking questions, demanding explanations, and most importantly, they're reconsidering their entire assessment protocol. Sarah looked out at the stars. What happens now? Admiral Chen smiled. Now we show them what else they got wrong. About us, across the galaxy, emergency sessions were being called. The Galactic Assessment Bureau faced its first major classification failure in centuries. Species that had ignored humanity were suddenly requesting detailed intelligence reports. Military commanders who had dismissed Earth as strategically insignificant were scrambling to understand human capabilities. In the crystalline halls of the Assessment Bureau, analysts worked frantically to revise their reports. They had observed humanity's surface behaviors, but missed the deeper currents of human nature. They had seen individual weakness and missed collective strength. They had noted technological limitations and ignored innovative potential. The classification was quietly updated. Where once it read harmless, new text appeared, requires immediate reassessment. Previous evaluation methods inadequate. Recommend extreme caution in all future interactions. But the damage was done. Humanity had been underestimated, and in that underestimation they had found their greatest advantage. The galaxy had given them time to grow, to learn, and to prepare. They had been dismissed as harmless, allowing them to develop without interference or threat. As news of the Kepler incident spread, a new phrase began appearing in alien communications: never underestimate the humans. It started as a cautionary note among military strategists, but soon became something more significant. It became the first rule of galactic diplomacy. Dr. Vasquez stood in her laboratory, reviewing the updated assessment reports. The aliens were beginning to understand their mistake, but she knew they still didn't grasp the full scope of what they had done. They had given humanity the greatest gift possible, the element of surprise. She opened a secure channel to Admiral Chen. "Sir, they're starting to realize their error." "Good," the Admiral replied. "How long do you think we have before they fully understand what they're dealing with?" Alina considered the question. Based on their current rate of reassessment, maybe 6 months, maybe less. Then we better make sure we're ready. The galaxy had ranked humanity as harmless. That classification had been their first mistake. Their second mistake would be assuming they could correct it before humanity was ready for whatever came next. The awakening, the emergency session of the Galactic Council, convened in the shadow of the Arcturus Nebula, where representatives from 47 species gathered to address what they now called the human question. The marble amphitheater buzzed with tension as delegates tried to understand how their most advanced assessment protocols had failed so completely. Ambassador Zara al-Rushaid stood at the center of the chamber, the first human to address the Galactic Council. Her presence was both historic and deeply unsettling to the assembled aliens. She wore a simple black diplomatic suit, her silver hair pulled back in a professional bun. But her eyes held the same determined fire that had driven her species to the stars. "Honor delegates," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's translation matrix. 6 months ago, you classified humanity as harmless. Today, you've gathered to reconsider that assessment. I'm here to tell you that your original classification was both completely wrong and entirely predictable. A ripple of unease passed through the assembly. Chancellor Vexbrim of the Altarian Federation, a towering insectoid being with compound eyes that reflected rainbow colors, leaned forward. "Human ambassador, your species has demonstrated capabilities that our sensors failed to detect. Explain this discrepancy." Zara smiled. "Chancellor, you observed us for 6 months and concluded we were primitive because we argued among ourselves. You saw our conflicts and missed our strength. You noted our emotions and ignored our logic. You classified us as harmless because you fundamentally misunderstood what makes humanity dangerous." She activated a holographic display showing Earth's history. "You saw our wars and assumed weakness. But every conflict taught us something new. You saw our disagreements and assumed division. But every debate made our decision stronger. You saw our compassion and assumed vulnerability. But our willingness to sacrifice for others is what makes us truly formidable. The display shifted to show the Kepler rescue mission. Captain Mitchell's crew didn't save those miners because they were ordered to. They saved them because abandoning people in need is something humans simply don't do. You called this harmless behavior. We call it the foundation of our civilization. Commander David Park sat in the observer section, wearing the crisp uniform of Earth's new galactic defense force. As one of the architects of Project Phoenix, he knew exactly how wrong the aliens' assessment had been, while they had been observing Earth's surface conflicts. Humanity had been developing technologies that would revolutionize space combat. The Phoenix Project had begun as a theoretical exercise. What if humanity had to defend itself against a vastly superior alien force? The answer had led to innovations in quantum computing, exotic matter manipulation, and tactical AI that even the most advanced alien species hadn't conceived. Ambassador al-Rashid interrupted Counselor Zethka, a crystalline being whose body sang with harmonic frequencies. Your species has shown remarkable adaptability. But adaptability alone cannot explain the technological leaps we've observed. Your ships now outperform vessels from civilizations with millennia of spaceflight experience. Zara nodded. Counselor, you're absolutely right. Let me tell you about human innovation. When we discovered we weren't alone in the galaxy, we didn't panic. We didn't despair. We got to work. She activated another display. While you were observing our surface behavior, we were revolutionizing our entire technological base. We studied every signal, every transmission, every piece of data we could intercept from galactic civilization. We reverse-engineered principles. From fragments of information, we innovated solutions to problems we'd never encountered. The display showed technical diagrams that made several alien delegates shift uncomfortably. Our quantum processing arrays can calculate jump trajectories faster than your most advanced computers. Our adaptive armor systems can reconfigure themselves in real time. Our tactical AI can predict enemy movements with 97% accuracy. But more importantly, Zara continued, we learned to work together. Not just as individuals, not just as nations, but as a species. The classification of harmless gave us the greatest gift possible, unity born from common purpose. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They had given humanity time to prepare, time to unite, time to develop. They had created the very threat they had sought to avoid. Suddenly, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Emergency lights bathed the chamber in red, and automated systems announced, Priority alert, Arcturus system under attack. All defensive stations compromised. Unknown hostiles engaging mining colonies. Chancellor Vexbrim's compound eyes flashed with alarm. The Devourers, they found us. The assembled delegates erupted in panic. The Devourers were the galaxy's nightmare, a machine intelligence that consumed entire star systems, turning matter into more of themselves. They had been dormant for centuries, but something had awakened them. How long until they reached this station? Demanded Counselor Zefka. 17 minutes, replied the station's AI. All defense fleets are moving to intercept, but estimates suggest 73% casualties with minimal effect on enemy advance. Zara stood calmly in the center of the chaos. Commander Park, how long until the Phoenix fleet arrives? David Park checked his tactical display. For minutes, Ambassador. All vessels report ready for combat. The alien delegates stared at her. "What is the Phoenix Fleet?" asked Chancellor Vexprim. "Our gift to the galaxy," Zara replied. "You see, while you were debating whether humans were harmless, we were preparing for the day you might need our help." The main display activated, showing tactical feeds from across the system. Devourer ships, massive dark constructs that absorbed light and energy, were systematically dismantling the outer mining platforms. Galactic defense forces engaged them with conventional weapons, achieving minimal damage while suffering devastating losses. Then something changed. New contacts appeared on the tactical display. Ships unlike anything in the galactic database materialized from quantum fold space. They were smaller than the alien vessels, sleeker, and they moved with impossible precision. Phoenix Squadron, this is Commander Park. Begin attack pattern, Omega. What happened next would be remembered as the moment humanity announced its arrival as a galactic power. The human ships didn't engage in traditional combat. Instead, they used tactics no alien military had ever conceived. They coordinated their attacks with mathematical precision, targeting structural weaknesses their AI had identified in nanoseconds. They used quantum-entangled communication to share tactical data instantaneously. They employed exotic matter weapons that disrupted the Devourer's molecular cohesion. Most remarkably, they fought with the same determination they had shown at Kepler Station. When Devourer ships adapted to their weapons, the humans adapted faster. When alien defense platforms failed, human crews risked their lives to rescue survivors. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Devourer fleet had been completely destroyed. Human casualties, 0. Alien casualties, saved by human intervention. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council chamber was silent except for the hum of life support systems. The assembled delegates stared at the tactical displays, trying to process what they had witnessed. "Ambassador," Chancellor Vexprim said quietly, "your species has capabilities we never imagined. How is this possible?" Zara smiled. "Chancellor, you classified us as harmless because you saw our surface behaviors. You never looked deeper. You never asked the right questions. You never wondered what a species might accomplish if it was simultaneously peaceful and utterly determined to survive." She gestured to the tactical displays. Every human on those ships volunteered to risk their lives for people they had never met. They fought not for conquest or glory, but to protect civilizations that had dismissed them as irrelevant. That's what makes humanity dangerous. We're willing to sacrifice everything for others. Commander Park approached the podium. "The Phoenix Fleet will remain in the Arcturus system until repairs are complete. We'll also be establishing permanent patrol routes throughout the outer systems. The galaxy is under our protection now." The delegates exchanged glances. The implications were staggering. Humanity had gone from harmless to indispensable in less than a year. They had become the galaxy's protectors, not through conquest, but through demonstrated capability and unwavering determination. "What do you want from us?" asked Councillor Zethka. Zara's expression grew serious. "We want partnership. We want to share our technology, our knowledge, our perspective. We want to work together to build something better than what any of us could accomplish alone." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But understand this. We will never again allow ourselves to be underestimated. We will never again allow ourselves to be dismissed as harmless. We are humanity, and we are here to stay." The Galactic Council voted unanimously to grant humanity full membership, with permanent seats on all major committees. The classification protocols were completely rewritten to prevent future assessment failures. Most importantly, a new principle. It was established: never judge a species by its apparent weaknesses without understanding its hidden strengths.